So you asked for it. Here it comes. We're going to profile the top school districts in the state of Maine in this episode. And ironically, we're actually going to profile the bottom school districts in the state of Maine as well. The good and the bad, the yin and the yang. I'm going to give you both sides of the equation. We're going to go from York County, which is the first county you come into in the state of Maine. We're going to go all the way up to Aroostook County, which is the last county up at the top of northern Maine. So it's a pretty wide swath of school districts that kind of peppered all over the place. I'm going to give you both the pros and cons of each of them. And I'm also going to combine the average cost of living in those school districts, specifically what prices, what houses, single-family homes have sold for in those school districts in February 2024, just last month, and what the average taxes are in those school districts as well, because I got another request asking me kind of what the taxes are around the state. So I'm going to combine the school districts along with the housing prices in those school districts, along with the taxes. This information is going to be very informative for all of you. It's just basically numbers. I hope you find this information helpful for all you that have been asking these questions, and we're going to get after it right now. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel here at Live Life in Maine. My name is Scott Tebow. I'm a real estate broker, realtor with eXp Realty here at Live Life in Maine. We created this channel just to be an informative source for you with nothing expecting in return. I feel like the more information I give you, the more information you can absorb, the more knowledgeable you are about Maine. Hopefully one day you'll want to move here, or if you're looking to sell here, you'll be doing that too, and you'll think about me and my team here at Live Life in Maine at eXp Realty when that time comes. Guys, I talk about this all the time. I'm a true Mainer. I've lived here my whole life, except for a stint that I spent in the military. So I was gone about 9 years. And, you know, during this time that I've lived here, I've really come to appreciate Maine. I didn't really care for it actually in high school. I wanted to get out of the state, to be very frank with you. I thought it was too slow, too quaint, not enough action, but I was a young whippersnapper, and I quickly learned after I saw a lot of the world, and let me tell you, some of it is not good. And I've lived in other parts of the country temporarily here or there, especially in the South and a little bit in the West. I just found my way back to Maine, and I'm very thankful to be living here. I'm married, got a father. I'm a father of 5, got 2 grandchildren and 1 on the way. I'm a veteran, as I said, of the United States Navy, and I just love living here in Maine. So this episode is really about just trying to help you make informed decisions if you're looking to relocate here, or if you're looking to sell here and you're looking for a broker or a realtor that isn't like, I just heard this from one of my clients, like it seems like real estate agents are piranhas these days, and they're all like all over you. That's not how I roll, guys. I'm kind of laid back. I just believe in doing the right thing. I'm not pushy, but on the same hand, I'm very informative, very knowledgeable. I've been doing this since 2013, and I've also flipped properties, bought properties, owned properties. I've built some properties. I've redeveloped a mill, or helped redevelop a mill. I'm very knowledgeable in the building process and the loaning process, and obviously in the real estate process. So I feel like I'm a pretty well-rounded resource for you, both on the buy and sell side. But as I said, not trying to get away from what this video is about. So let's talk about the school districts in the state of Maine. So what I did, guys, is I compiled a list of the top 10 school districts in the state of Maine, as well as the bottom 10 school districts in the state of Maine, just like I said, and I coupled that with the prices of homes in those school districts and the taxes. So first of all, let's talk about how I came up with this profile of what are the top 10 school districts. There was a study done by U.S. News and World Report just last November of 2024, 2023. I think it was 2023 because obviously we're in 2024. And they came up with this list based upon college readiness, which is the proportion of 12th graders who look to be earning a qualified score of at least one AP or one B exam. So they used, here's a criteria, guys, essentially. College readiness. They broke out of 100%, they broke it down by college readiness, 30%, state assessment proficiency, 20%, state assessment performance, 20%. Underserved student performance, 10%, college curriculum breadth, 10%, and graduation rate, 10%. So I believe if you add those up, 30, 50, 70, 89, that equals 100%. So based upon those criteria, and I'll flash these criteria on the screen. I'm not going to read them all. You can read them yourself, or you can look for them in the comments below. This is how we determine the top 10 school districts in the state of Maine. And then obviously I brought in the bottom 10 school districts in the state of Maine. So let's start with how many school districts are there in the state of Maine? Well, guys, technically there are 277 school districts in the state of Maine. Maine's a pretty big state, and you have a lot of different school districts, municipal school districts, state school districts. But how are those school districts broken out? So of the 277, we're only in the top 252. So what's the difference? The 25 that I didn't even look at. Well, of that 25, 8 of them are applied technology regions. So they're specific. 10 of them are charter schools. I didn't look at charter schools. 3 are Maine Indian education. Didn't look at those. 3 are state-run. Didn't look at those. And 1 is an unorganized territory. Yes, believe it or not, folks, we have some unorganized territory locations here in the state of Maine. So those 25 I did not look at. I did look at 9 community schools, 52 Maine school administration districts, the biggest one, 162 municipal school units, and 29 what we call as regional school units or regional school districts. So when you boil that ocean down into a gallon of water, we got 252. And I'm going to do the good first. Number 10, the 10th best school district in the state of Maine is RSU 89, which is actually in Stacyville, Maine, which is by Mount Katahdin, believe it or not. So way up there past Bangor, keep going, stop banging to the left, you got Mount Katahdin, it's the tallest mountain in the state of Maine. And kind of right around it, you have Stacyville. The enrollment in RSU 89, the whole school district, is only 280 people or 280 students. The home median price in February for Stacyville and in that area was $389,000 in the month of February. Now let's talk about taxes and what that costs. So in Maine, I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, every municipality uses a mill rate. What does mill stand for? Mill stands for millage. In a prior email, I thought it had to do something with the mills, but I researched this a little bit. It has nothing to do with the mills. It has to do with millage, and millage is 1/1000th is how it's calculated. So what they did was say the mill rate is for every dollar applied per $1,000 of assessed value. So what we really got to do is you got to go to the county or to the municipality and find out what their assessment is on the property that you may be living in or looking to buy or selling. So what I did was assessed values in the state of Maine. Assessors have to assess between 70 and 110% of the appraised value. Right? Some property, like my property here that just got reassessed, is about 72% of the appraised value. Being a realtor, I know how much my house is worth. There are other properties that have the state's gone through a reassessment, and they're at like 102% of appraised value. So it's all about how to generate more taxes, essentially what it comes down to. But what I did was I split it right in the middle. I said 90%. So 70% on the low, 100%, 110% on the high, right in the middle is 90%. So what I did was I took 90% of the median price of a house and calculated taxes on that. And I also had to know what the mill rate was for us to do that. So let's go back to RSU 89 so I don't confuse you. The median home price in February of 2024 is $389,000. Now, if you go to Stacyville's assessors database, you'll see that they charge $19.16 per thousand of assessed value. This is public information, guys. Best place to go is right to the municipality or town's website, and they have this, the assessors database, the assessors data. So if you were to take 389,000. Remember, I said I'm going to split right in the middle, 90%. So I said 90% of 389,000 with taxes at $19.16 per thousand means annually. If you were to buy a house around that price range, you'd pay $6,707.92 in taxes annually, or $558.99 monthly. Now, guys, just to be clear, median isn't what the price of the houses are going for. It's the median, which means half the houses are higher and half the houses are lower. It's right in the middle. So RSU 89, Stacyville, number 10. Number 9. RSU 38, which is in Reedfield. Reedfield is up by Farmington. It's kind of more to the west of Maine. I think it's in Oxford County. I didn't look on the map, but I know it's up there a little bit more to the west of Maine. In Maine, there are 1,181 students enrolled in RSU 38. The median home price is $425,000. The taxes, or the mill rate, is $13.38, and again, 90% of 425 divided by 1,000 times the mill rate of $13.38 means the average annual taxes in Reedfield, or in this school district, is $5,117.85, or $426.49 a month. Add it on top of your mortgage if you have one. All right. Number 8, Scarborough Public Schools. Scarborough is a municipality. It's actually a town. It's just south of Portland, just north of Saco. It's in York County, right on the border of York and Cumberland counties. And the enrollment in Scarborough, pretty big high school, pretty big school district. A lot of people are moving to Scarborough. There's a lot going on in Scarborough. It's one of the biggest or fastest growing towns or municipalities in the state, actually. But the enrollment is 2,880 students. Here's where it gets you, though. The closer you get to Portland, the more things cost. The median home price in Scarborough, $758,015. Taxes are, the mill rate is $13.14. The average cost for taxes on a median home in Scarborough is $8,964.29 a year, and or $747.02 a month on top of your mortgage, if you have a mortgage. That's number 8. Number 7, guys, Brunswick. Brunswick is starting up the coast, the mid-coast. Portland, you start banging it right. You get into Saginaw County, you got Brunswick, Bath. I've done some other videos on Brunswick in Bath, and I think I just did one on the home prices in there. But in Brunswick, the Brunswick School District has 1,020 students that are enrolled. The median home price in Brunswick is $432,000. The mill rate is $16.76. So if you take the 432, 90% divided by 1,000, and multiply that by $16.76, the annual taxes in Brunswick, based on the median home price of a house in Brunswick, is $6,516.29 or $543.02. That's number 7. Number 6 is Yarmouth schools. So where is Yarmouth? If you're looking at a map, if you find Portland, go north a little bit west. You're going to have Portland, Falmouth, and then you're going to have Yarmouth. And Yarmouth is the number 8th school district in the state, based upon the criteria I gave you, how they rank school districts. It has an enrollment of 1,679 students in the school district. The median home price in Yarmouth is $631,000. The mill rate is $13.83. Means annually your taxes are about $7,854.06 or $654.50 a month for the real estate taxes on your property. We call it your real estate tax for your home. In the Maine, much like a lot of states, you pay taxes for your property, and you pay that twice a year. Most people have it baked into their mortgages where, they don't see it. They just make their payments, and then the lender makes that payment to the town every 6 months. I recommend not doing it that way unless you have to, and I'll tell you why in another video, but real quick. When you pay a mortgage payment and it's included, your taxes are included in it, so the bank's taking that spread and putting it in an escrow, they're making money on that interest, right? They're making money. And they're making interest on that money that sits there for 6 months before they send it off to the municipality to pay the real estate taxes. Furthermore, there's a law that was passed that they should be able to have a buffer in case taxes go up or down, so they can apply, I almost want to say 2 times the amount for the buffer. So if you look at your tax bill and you're paying, you're paying your mortgage, and it includes your taxes, look at how much they take from your monthly payment, multiply that by 12, figure out your taxes on, you'll see the buffer that's built in there most likely. Now, again, they did this because they want to show consumers would be disciplined enough, if you will, to set aside those taxes and pay them every 6 months. So they like to bake it right into the mortgage in terms of your payment. They like to escrow that in home insurance, and therefore just make the payment themselves. But they are making money on it. They can charge more just to have a buffer in there. If you're disciplined with your finances and you can set that money aside, I'd recommend doing it that way. If you're not, you kind of just want to pay it and forget about it, then I'd pay it in your monthly payment with your mortgage and everything else and let them take care of it. But for me, I don't like anybody making money on my money if I can't make money on it. So I try to keep it separate. All right, number 6 was Yarmouth schools. Number 5, Falmouth schools. So again, Portland, right north of Portland is Falmouth, very affluent area. Falmouth has 2,011 students enrolled. The median home price in Falmouth is $979,000. The taxes, the mill rate is $12.24, and on average, if you live in Falmouth, your annual taxes is going to be $10,784.66 or $898.72 a month. Falmouth, coastal town, very affluent. A lot of white class or white collar people live there. I don't mean white class like color. I mean like white collar, like a lot of executives and stuff like that. So Falmouth, number 5. Number 4 is called Five Town Community School District. This is in Rockport. So if you're heading up the coast on your way past Bath, Brunswick, you're going to come up to Camden. You're going to come up to Rockland. That's Rockport right in there before you get to like Bar Harbor and stuff. You got Rockport up there on the coast. Cool little quaint city, but it's a school district. So 5-town county school district in Rockport. They have 697 students enrolled. The median home price in Rockport is $499,900. The mill rate per thousand is $13.39, and so that means annually you pay $6,024.29 in taxes, or $502.02 per month, added on to your mortgage if you had one. Number 3. Cape Elizabeth. So where's Cape Elizabeth? Again, I'm going to center around Portland again. If you look at Portland and you look at south and you look east, so you got Portland, South Portland, right below South Portland to the east, kind of right next to Scarborough, is Cape Elizabeth. So it's a little north of Scarborough, but it's south of South Portland right there. It's right in the greater Portland area. And this area is very, very wealthy. School district. They have Cape Elizabeth enrolled 1,509 students. Here we go, guys. Median home price in Cape Elizabeth. Sitting down, $1,395,000. That's the median. That's like half the prices are high, half the houses are higher, and half the houses are lower. You got to make some bucks to be living in Cape Elizabeth. The taxes are based on $12.11 per thousand. So on average, you're going to pay about $15,204.11 in taxes for the median home price in Cape Elizabeth, which is about $1,267.01 per month. That's a mortgage payment for a lot of people, just the taxes. That's number 3. Number 2, RSD or RSU 21, which is Kennebec. So if you're looking, I'm going to center on Portland again. Come south, you got Scarborough, you got Saco, you got Biddeford, then you got Rundle, and then you got Kennebec. Kennebec sits 2 towns south of where I'm at right now. Kennebec used to be a pretty small community. It's grown quite a bit because of Kennebec Port, and it's on the coast, and it's in York County, pretty close to Boston in terms of commuting, and New Hampshire. And my father actually grew up in Kennebec, and he told me some stories that I wouldn't recognize Kennebec back then as I would today. But it is the number 2 school district in the state of Maine. It has an enrollment of 2,445 students. The median home price in February was $599,000. The taxes are pretty good, $11.30 per thousand. Annually, you'd be paying $6,129.57, and monthly you'd be paying $510.80. The other thing I like about Kennebec is it makes its own power. So it's not a part of the it's not a part of the big grid here in Maine, which is either Central Maine Power or used to be Bangor Hydro. I don't remember what it is now, but they kind of create their own power. They have their own power district, Kennebec Power District, and the electricity is actually cheaper in Kennebec than it is per kilowatt than it is for the rest of the state because they generate their own. So anyways, pretty good deal to live in Kennebec, I feel. $599,600 to live on the coast in York County is, great place to live. A lot of people are looking at Kennebec, Wells, that area. But Kennebec's number 2 rated school district in the state of Maine. And number 1, drum roll please, the number 1 school district to live in the state of Maine, if you have children or if you're thinking about relocating here because you're a teacher or you want to get into the educational field and you want to teach our K through 12 students, is RSU 51, which is Cumberland. Where is Cumberland, you may ask? Go back to Portland, look north into the west It's kind of next to Yarmouth, but not quite. It's more inland. It's not a coastal community, but it's pretty quick to get to. It's Cumberland. 2,153 students are enrolled there. 699,000 is the median home price. Taxes, again, not too bad. $14.75 per thousand. Annually, you pay $9,279.23 for taxes, or $773.27 a month to be added to your mortgage, unless you're paying cash, and that's just your monthly real estate fees. So, to recap, number 10 is Stacyville by Mount Katahdin. Number 9 is RSU 38 Reedfield. It's up by Farmington, kind of west in the state of Maine and Oxford. Number 8 is SCARO, coastal town, right below Portland. Number 7 is Brunswick, heading up the coast in the mid-coast, past Portland, about 30 miles to the right, you'll get into Brunswick. Number 6 is Yarmouth, right up past Portland, 2 towns up. Number 5 is Falmouth, right next to Portland. Number 4 is Five Town Community School District, which is in Rockport, which is past Bath, Brunswick, on your way to Bar Harbor. You got Rockport, Camden, up in that area. Number 3, Cape Elizabeth, just south of Portland, southeast of Portland. Number 2, Kennebec, kind of coming into the state of Maine, a few towns south of Portland, south of Biddeford, Saco. Number 2, I said that, Kennebec. And number 1, Cumberland, just a little bit north of Portland. So the trend here, guys, is if you see, let's see, Stacyville, Reedfield, Brunswick, although I would consider Brunswick southern Maine, Rockport. So Rockport, 3 of the top 10 are not in southern Maine. The other 7 of the top 10 are all in southern Maine. Southern Maine, to me, is kind of Freeport South, or what we call Beanport South. So we're also where the majority of people live and the majority of the money is in terms of wealth and in terms of jobs. So it kind of makes sense, follows one hand feeds the other. If you live in a higher price community, obviously there's going to be more money put into the schools. You're probably going to have better teachers. You're probably going to have more tools and buildings and all that. So it kind of makes sense. But still, living in southern Maine is much more expensive than living in central or northern Maine, specifically northern Maine. Central Maine's kind of catching up. I don't think it'll ever catch southern Maine, but southern Maine and the mid-coast are kind of the 2 most expensive places to live in terms of homes. But it's where the action is. There's a lot to do there. So you're going to need a budget between $500,000 to $900,000 to live in one of the communities in southern Maine, in my opinion. You can find houses, and I found houses that are less. You go a little bit further west in York County or in Cumberland County, you will, but those prices are starting to come up. I'm going to say this, the average median home price to live in southern Maine is probably starting around $400,000, just to give you some examples of what it would take to live here if you're looking to relocate. All right. The bottom 10 school districts in the state of Maine. And you're going to see a trend here in terms of, I'm going to have to explain a couple of them because a couple of them are interesting. But we won't go with the very bottom. The 10 worst school district to live in or go to in the state of Maine is RSU 33, which is St. Agatha. Has a population of 237 students. The median home price, home prices, you're going to see how home prices directly affect the school districts, $280,000. The mill rate is $12.39, means you pay $3,122.28 per annual, would be annual taxes, or $260.19. That's 243 out of 252. 244. Washburn, which is RSU 45. Washburn has an enrollment of 289 students. Here's where the home median prices really start to change. Home median price, $159,950. Guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I've lived in Maine my whole life, or almost my whole life, except for 9 years. I have no idea where St. Agatha or Washburn are. If somebody asked me right now, point them on where St. Agatha is, I wouldn't know. That's how much these schools and these school districts seem pretty small, if you're asking me. Anyways, Washburn, $159,950. Mill rate, very high, $19.26. Probably because houses are so cheap, they have to make money to support the community, so they got to raise the mill rate. Annual taxes would be $2,772.57 or $231.05 a month. That's 244. 245, RSU 8, which is Vinyl Haven. Now, this is kind of interesting. I'll explain it to you here in a minute. Vinyl Haven, enrollment 43 students, but check it out. Price for a home, median sale price for a home, $937,500. Mill rate is $12.15. Annual taxes are approximately $10,251.56 or $854.30. Vinyl Haven, guys, is an island. So why it's rated so low is because, in my opinion, probably it's most people who live there are seasonal, right? They're affluent. They buy these big vacation homes on Vinyl Haven. And the people that do live there, the locals, they're not rich. They're not affluent. And there's only 43 students. So it's probably one of the reasons why it's rated so low as a school district. You only have 43 students. It's hard to really get some good numbers on everybody when you only have 43 students. My guess is those 43 students are local. They've lived there their whole lives. Smaller island. But people want to build houses there and live there for pretty much probably this summer, is my opinion. All right, that was 245. 246, RSU 83, Bingham. Again, another place. I don't know where Bingham is in the state of Maine. I could look all this stuff up, and maybe I should have, but I was like, what's the point? 181 students enrolled there. Average median price, $197,500. Again, guys, way below the national average, which tells you something. Taxes are $15.82. Annually, you pay $28,1201 for your annual taxes on a home if you bought it at the median price of $197,500, and the monthly taxes would be $234.33. So that was number 246, or the 7th worst school district in the state of Maine. The 6th worst school district in the state of Maine, or number 247, is RSU 53. Now, guys, if you teach in those school districts or you live in those school districts, don't beat me up. This is from U.S. News Report, their own study. I'm not telling you anything that they haven't already done. So I'm just repeating the study that I read and did a little research on. Just putting that caveat out there. But 247, RSU 83, Pittsfield. So where's Pittsfield? If you're looking at a map and you're looking at Augusta, Pittsfield sits between Augusta and Waterville, a little bit north of Augusta, a little bit south of Waterville. You go there, you'll see it's Pittsfield. It's up Interstate 95 on your way up to Bangor. It has an enrollment of 840 students. Median home price in February was $99,999. I don't know why they just don't say $100,000, but that's what the multiple listing service gave me when I ran the report on Pittsfield for February. Mill rate very high, $19.40 per thousand. Again, low assessed values of homes. City municipality needs to make money. They got to raise the mill rate to cover their expenses. Annually, you'd be paying $1,745.98 to live there for taxes, which equates to $145.50 monthly. Number 248, or 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, the 5th worst school district in the state of Maine, Guilford. Guilford's up there, guys. You're now heading up into the county, Guilford. 525 enrollment in students. Average median sale price of a home in February was $364,500. The mill rate, $5.15. I had to look into this and say, why didn't the mill rate go down? It went down quite a bit because it was almost up $20, $19 a couple of years ago, and they dropped it all the way down to $5.15. I think it's because the area went through a reassessment and they got more value for the homes up there. Therefore, they dropped the mill rate because, they couldn't apply the same mill rate to houses that were probably assessed at a lot less than they're selling for these days. But Guilford's up there. Not a lot to do in Guilford, in my opinion. 525 students are enrolled in the Guilford RSU 80. Median price $364,500, $5.15 is the mill rate, which I just said. $1,689.46 is the annual taxes you'd pay to live in Guilford School District. $140.79 per month is the taxes to be in School District RSU 80, thereabouts. All right. Getting down there, guys, unfortunately. Number 249 out of 252, RSU 7, North Haven. Kind of the same thing. 47 enrollment. It's another island, I believe. North Haven is one of those little islands off the coast. $389,000 median price, $10.54 is the taxes mill rate. $3,690.05 would be annual taxes. $307.50 a month would be what you'd pay to live in North Haven. Again, not really quite sure what North Haven is. We got a lot of these little towns and little islands that are really obscure, but they all have to have some type of educational system in there if you have students. So 47 in a whole school district's pretty small, guys. I'm surprised it's even a school district, but it is. All right, number 250, or the third worst school district in the state of Maine, is Islesboro Public Schools, which is on the island of Islesboro, which is another small little island off the coast of Maine, has an enrollment of 86 students. But the prices of homes, $1,175,000 is the average median price for a home in Islesboro in February. Again, kind of just like Vinyl Haven, small little island. It's a seasonal island. Most of the people that have the big fancy rich houses don't live there year round, especially in the winter. It's seasonal. That's their economy. But obviously there are some students and there are some families that live on this island that are native, that are local, probably not living in houses that are $1 million, probably living in something quite a bit smaller and a lot less expensive. Mill rate $12.79. So if you were to buy one of those big 1 million houses, you'd be paying $13,325.43 per year for taxes. Now, I'm going to guess that people that live in Islesboro, the 86 students, their houses are probably $200,000, $100,000, $300,000, right? So you got these little small islands that people have been wanting to move to, and you got these, you got the white collar people and the have and have-nots, unfortunately, if you were coming up there and building these massive houses because the views are spectacular. And the school district, unfortunately, is suffering. It's the third worst in the state, according to this report. The second worst school district in the state, according to U.S. News World Report, based upon these curriculums, based upon these college readiness, state assessment, proficiency, performance, underserved students, college curriculum breadth, and graduation rate, is Greenville. I have a buddy that's from Greenville. He's pretty educated, does pretty well, but he doesn't live there. He lives down in SCARO, actually. But he tells me about Greenville and his days when he went to school up there. Pretty small school district, again, up in the county, up north, 185 total enrollment. $334,000. I was surprised it was that high. Is the home median price in February? Taxes, mill rate high, $17.82 per thousand. Annually, you pay $5356.69 or $5,356.69 to live in Guilford. Pretty much a big paper and logging community, I believe. $446.39 per month to live in Guilford from a tax perspective. And unfortunately, the worst school district in the state of Maine, according to this study. And it's too bad because I love the area. Jackman. So where the heck is Jackman, you may be asking? Well, the best way to describe it is find a map and look for Quebec, Canada. And then to start coming south east down into Maine, you're going to hit the Highway 201, and you're going to run right into Jackman. Now, Jackman is a phenomenal place for fishing and hunting and snowmobiling. You see crazy amount of moose there. I love Jackman, Maine. I wouldn't want to live there. There is nothing in Jackman, Maine other than, the outdoor industry. But it would make sense why it's the worst school district, which is RSU 82 in terms of this criteria. Jackman, enrollment, 136 students. The home median price in Jackman in February was $225,000. The mill rate is $14.61 per thousand. Means to live in Jackman, if you had a house around $225,000, you'd be paying annually about $2,958.53 in taxes, or $245.54 per month to live in Jackman. So, guys, I hope this information was helpful. I'm going to actually include a link to the Maine School District's website, to the Department of Education in Maine, and you can go there and you can look at kind of the GIS map if you want to know more information about these school districts and where they're located. So I'm going to provide a link for you in the description below, and I'll also put this list that I just rattled off to you. I'll put that as an attachment to a link that you can see this list as well. Guys, as always, Scott Tebow here, Live Life in Maine, broker with eXp Realty. I'm here to help. If you're looking to buy and sell, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, book a Zoom call with us. I get calls, texts, emails all the time, guys, asking us what it's going to take to live here. I'm getting now calls and texts from people that are asking me if I can help them sell. They just really like the way I come across on the camera. I'm kind of building rapport. I'm easygoing. I'm not a piranha. And I'm here to help, guys. I believe you give away more than you get, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I hope this information was helpful, guys. Keep the comments coming. If you want to see more content on other things, let me know what that is, and I will put it in the queue to have it coming. The next two videos are going to be the top 5 things I love about Maine and the top 5 things I don't love about Maine. And then by that time, we'll probably be into a updated market report for the month of March, which will be ending this week, and I'll get it out to you in a week and a half or so after the numbers are out for kind of the median prices of what things are selling for around the state. In closing, guys, stay safe, have a fantastic Easter, and we'll talk to you soon. Scott Tebow, over and out. Bye-bye.